I have been using this iPhone 17 Pro Max for one of my content cameras, and there are ridiculously amount of accessories you can buy for this thing. But most of them you probably don't even need. So today, I picked 4 accessories that I think are actually interesting. We have got probably one of the thinnest cases I have used, a tiny monitor, and completely changes how I shoot with iPhone. A minimalist ebook reader that little different from anything else I own. Yes, it's actually a charger, so let's start with probably the simplest accessory. This is a Taurus Air case for the iPhone 17 Pro, and the whole reason I like this case is actually pretty simple. I don't like huge cases. The iPhone 17 Pro already feels really good in a hand, so the last thing I wanted to do is to put a giant piece of the plastic around it, basically turn it into a completely different phone. And that's where the Air case makes sense. Look how thin this thing is. Once it's on the phone, it almost feels like you're using the phone without a case. Obviously, you're not buying something this thin because you're planning on throwing your phone down a mountain. For me, this is more about protecting the phone from normal everyday stuff like scratches, putting it down on a table, sliding into a pocket, things like that. And another thing I like is that it doesn't interfere with using the phone as a camera. I shoot a lot with my phone, so I don't want a case that makes phone unnecessarily bulky when I'm attaching accessory or filming. It's simple, it's thin, and you basically forget that that is there. And for me, that's exactly what I want from an everyday case. Now that the phone itself is protected, let's get into something way more interesting. Because if you actually shoot videos with your phone, this is little thing that is awesome. This is 7 Rhymes QuickShot V2, and it's basically a small external monitor that lets you see yourself while you're shooting with the rear camera on your iPhone. That sounds like a small thing until you actually start filming yourself. Normally, if I'm using the rear camera and it's standing in front of the phone, I'm basically guessing, am I centered? Is my head cut off? Did I move out of the frame? Is the composition right? You don't know until you walk back over and check the phone. With this, I can actually see what's happening. And that's especially useful for something like this video. If I'm filming myself doing a product shots, filming something with my car, or even just trying to get a quick reel by myself, I can frame everything without consistently running back to my phone. And I like accessories like this because they solve an actual problem. It's not something you attach to your iPhone just because it looks cool. It actually makes filming easier. Now, do you need this if you're only using your iPhone for normal everyday photos and videos? Probably not. But if you're a content creator and you're consistently filming yourself with your iPhone, this is the one of those accessories that starts making a lot of more sense. We'll move on. There is actually one more thing from Taurus that I added to my iPhone 17 Pro, and this is one especially useful if you spend a lot of time outside. This is the Taurus SunView AR Shield Screen Protector. Installations is really simple. Line up everything, apply it, and you're done. But what I really wanted to test was how the screen looks outdoors. One of the annoying things about using your phone in a bright sunlight is all the reflection on the glass. The SunView AR Shield is designed to reduce those reflections and make them display easier to see in a bright environment. And for me, that's actually important because I use my iPhone for filming all the time. When I'm shooting outside, I want to be able to see my screen without consistently moving the phone around trying to avoid reflections. Plus, you're getting the normal protection you'd expect from a screen protector. The link will be in the description. Alright, now let's get into the next accessory. This little thing is from XTE Ink, and it's basically a super minimal ebook reader. And it includes in this video because lately I've been trying to do something that sounds completely backwards. Use my iPhone less. Think about how many times you pick up your phone because you want to do one thing. Maybe you want to read something and 5 minutes later you're on your Instagram or YouTube scrolling your videos. Then you're checking your messages and somehow 30 minutes disappeared. That's what I like about something like this. It has one job: read. nothing else. There is no reason for me to open Instagram. There is no notification popping up. There is nothing else fighting for my attention. And I also really like how small and minimal it is. Look at this next to the iPhone. This isn't something that feels like carrying another giant tablet around. You can just throw it in a bag, take it to the coffee shop, keep it next to your bed, and when you want it, read and read. It's probably the weirdest accessory in this video because it doesn't necessarily add something to the iPhone. It gives me a reason to put the iPhone down and actually really like that. Now we have to talk about the thing. This is a 3-in-1 charger from a company called accessory. It looks like a basketball hoop. I don't know who came up with this, but my kids love this. Instead of having another boring charging station sitting on your desk, your iPhone basically becomes the backboard. And I know this is completely unnecessary, that's kind of the point, but underneath the design, it's still a practical 3-in-1 charger station. So instead of having separate cables everywhere for your iPhone, Apple Watch and AirPods, everything has its one own place. And that's why I actually like this thing. Because normally when companies try to make a charger look different, it becomes something giant, gimstick, that you don't really want sitting on your desk. This one actually looks pretty good, especially if you're into basketball. I'm not. Would I buy this because it's going to completely change the way I use my iPhone? No. Would I put this on my desk instead of another station? Yes, absolutely. And sometimes an accessories doesn't have to reinvent anything. Sometimes it can be just fun. So those are 4 accessories I have been using with the iPhone 17 Pro. And what's interesting is that they are all completely different. The Taurus Air, probably the most practical everyday accessory here. The 7 Rhymes Quick Shot V2 is probably my favorite if you're actually using your iPhone to create content. And this beautiful reader is for when you actually want to get away from your phone for a little bit. And of course, this beautiful charging station that can do lots of things and charge all 3 things at the same time. I'll put links to everything down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.